Sunnahfollowers, protectors of the Sunnah. Sunnahfollowers, protectors of the Sunnah.
Alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam Allah, wa rasulullah. Welcome to another session of Sunnahfollowers Tawheed class. And for our class today, we are continuing with our topic of Islamic morality and character. Islamic morality and character. And as everyone here should understand, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent to teach us good character, good morality, good manners, and by teaching us these three things, in turn, he taught us Islam. And that's why, as Muslims, these are the things we should focus on, because this is all part of Tawheed. You know, we should work on bettering ourselves spiritually with Allah, but the only way we can better ourselves spiritually is by first working on ourselves, looking at our character, changing our morals, changing our mannerisms to that which is pleasing of Allah. And doing that entails incorporating the names of Allah as attributes for ourselves. And that's why I taught that whole series on the names of Allah. You know, it should be taught whereas the people not only go over the meaning of those names, but also we discuss how to implement those names within ourselves as attributes, because doing this will build good character, will build good morality, and in turn will make us strong, believing Muslims. And just to show how, I want you guys to really understand how if our character is not good, you will not be a strong believer. You'll be a weak Muslim. You'll be one of those Muslims that fall into sin. And just to illustrate that, I did give you guys a quiz for today, just a short one, because it is very, very important for you to understand that weak character makes a weak Muslim. Strong character makes a strong Muslim. Okay, and let's look at the first question here. Okay, a Muslim suffers with low self-esteem. If a Muslim suffers with low self-esteem, how will this show in his or her belief and practice of Islam? I want you guys to think about it. If a Muslim suffers with low self-esteem, you have low self-esteem issues, how will this show in your belief and practice of Islam? I want you guys to see how those of us who are weak in practicing this religion, those of us who suffer with weakness of faith, are those of us who have bad character, bad morals, bad mannerisms. And I want you guys to see how the two correlate with each other. So who can tell me, people on Facebook, I really want you guys on Facebook to try to answer this. Sister Zarina, Sister Sanaya, if a person suffers with low self-esteem, how will this show itself in his or her belief and practice of this religion? Anyone?
They'll always feel hopeless.
Okay, a person with low self-esteem. Okay, how would this show itself in a person's belief and practice? Okay, such a person will always suffer with a loss of hope. What else? How would it show in their practice? That's their belief. They're hopeless, but how does it show in their practice of the religion too? How does it show in their practice of this deen? Anyone? If I'm a person who has low self-esteem, how will that show in my practice of the religion? And how will it show in my belief system? Anyone? Zarina, what do you think? Sister Zarina. Sister Zarina, if a person suffers with low self-esteem, how will this show in how they practice Islam? And there's a lot of Muslim women and men out there with low self-esteem issues. And that's why they are not good Muslims. Go ahead.
It'll make them not want to pray. It make them not want to do nothing. They just sitting back feeling sorry for themselves and stuff.
Okay. Such a person will have no desire to fulfill the obligations such as prayer, because they are too caught up. Good job, Fresno. Too caught up in self-pity, feeling sorry for themselves. These are people who, oh, Sister Layla, you know, my iman is so weak. I know I don't make my prayers like I should, you know. And, you know, then if you talk to that person, you see that person has issues with self-esteem. I feel like I'm such a failure in life. You know, I don't think I have anything good to contribute to the world. So if you feel that you have nothing good to contribute to the world, such a person feels that he or she has nothing good to contribute to Allah. Do you guys see how Islam, you know, the Prophet Muhammad is the psychologist for the Muslim. There's a lot of Muslims. I'm going to tell you guys, I have a couple of bachelor's degrees too. Those of us who've been to college, the easiest degree to get is a degree in psychology. You know why? Because there's never no wrong answers on the exams. You can write an essay or do a paper or a thesis on whatever, and there's no, just long as it sounds good, you know, there's no wrong, bad thesis or bad essay or bad answer. So I always tell people who, a lot of people that end up getting there settling for psychology, oh, you just took the easy way out. You know, you didn't want to continue on and get a degree because you wanted to hurry up and graduate. It doesn't take much to get a degree in psychology or sociology, you know, unless you want to make, now some people do want to make careers out of it, like working for the state or as a social worker or something that's different. But a lot of people settle for degrees in psychology because there's no right or wrong answers. Well, guess what? You can save your money. The Prophet Muhammad is the psychologist for the Muslim. Okay. He taught us how to handle ourselves. If you're a person that's suffering with low self-esteem, this is a person that doesn't feel that he or she is worthy of even standing in the presence of Allah. So this is why those people don't pray. That's why those people don't wear hijab. That's why those people don't fast Ramadan, because they feel that they have nothing good to contribute to Allah, nothing good to contribute to life, because their self-esteem is so damaged due to whatever's happened in their personal lives. Anyone else? Anyone else? Tell me how a person who suffers with low self-esteem that suffering, that low self-esteem will show itself in their belief system and their practice of Islam. Anyone else?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Yeah, but class, let me answer this question. Okay, I'll just wait. Such person will be jealous.
Okay, what does, okay, this is you want to tell me how? I don't want you to give me, I don't want you guys to give me synonyms of low self-esteem. I want you to, this is a question of fiqh, okay? If I am a person who suffers with low self-esteem,
envy.
how will
We
it
don't go around hurting other people because
No, that's not correct. Listen to the question, guys. Low self-esteem, people with low self-esteem don't go around hurting people. Okay, I want you to answer these questions. These are questions of fiqh, you know, which means you're gonna have to think. Okay, if I have low self-esteem, that means I don't think much of myself. If I don't think much of myself, I'm not going to think that I can even and qualify to hurt somebody else. I'm too busy hurting myself. If a person has low self-esteem, how will this show in the way they practice Islam and how they claim to believe in Allah? We got 3 good answers here. For what in regards to belief, as Sister Precious says, this is a person that has no hope. Hope affects your belief system. You see the answer there, whoever, Umi or Awa? Also another answer, if a person has low self-esteem, they have no desire to fulfill their obligations because they're too busy pitying themselves. This is practice of the deen. That's an example of how it shows in their practice of the religion. Okay, then another answer we got here is someone said such a person feels that he or she has nothing good to contribute to Allah. This impacts practice and belief. So you guys see, don't sit here and just make up stuff. These are questions. My questions are all questions of fiqh, which entails thought and which shows if you understand. Let's see what answers we got on Facebook. Let me see. Low self-esteem. Okay, well I want you to tell me, Sanaya, how does that impact the way you practice Islam? How does that impact how you say you believe in Allah? You understand, Sanaya? I don't need you to define what self-esteem is. We already know what low self-esteem is. Tell me how it impacts how you practice this religion, or how it invalidates your belief in Allah or contradicts that. Ahmad, we already said hope. Zarina, a person with low self-esteem. This is a person that has no regard to their appearance. They stay in abusive relationship. Okay, well, tell me, Sister Zarina, I don't want you to define the meaning of low self-esteem. I don't want you to tell me how we can recognize who has low self-esteem. The question is, take the meaning of low self-esteem and relate it to practicing Islam. You understand? Or belief in Allah. Fiqh. This ain't easy, guys. It's just like the names of Allah. That's why we spent all that time learning them names of Allah. Okay, we already said that's a person that doesn't do obligations. Good job, Pamela. Anyone else? Facebook people, come on, give me another example as to how a person who suffers with low self-esteem is a person who does not practice his religion properly and whose belief system is altered. Anyone? Don't give me the meaning of it. Don't give me the meaning of it or how it impacts a person on a personal level. It has to relate to practicing Islam or negating belief in Allah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
What about like someone who blind follow imams?
What does that have to do with self-esteem? Do you guys know what low self-esteem means? Look up the meaning of low self-esteem and tell me how that affects their belief system or practice of Islam. Latifa, is Latifa here? Latifa, help these people out. Give me an
Assalamu alaikum.
example, Latifa, of how, if I have low self-esteem, how it's going to affect how I practice my religion. Somebody show whoever that, Umi Bear or whoever that is, the example of that. Show me an example of how, if I don't have high self-esteem, how it's going to impact how I practice my religion. Give me an example of that one. Whoever that is with the slimes, go ahead. Practicing the religion.
They will have fear of what others say.
No, practicing. Practicing. Do you guys know what it means to practice Islam? Practice Islam means to do the things that a Muslim are supposed to do. This is why I did this quiz. I figured you guys still ain't getting it. Some of you are, some of you are not. Anybody? Zarina, you are a Muslim. You know the things you're supposed to do. You know the things you're not supposed to do. You know, you're supposed to know these things. So now, if you suffered with low self-esteem, how would that affect your practice, your performance of the things you're supposed to do, your performance of the things you ain't supposed to do? Do y'all understand now? Your performance. Practice of the religion, how you perform Islam, how you do what Muslims supposed to do. If I had low self-esteem, well, it's going to take away my hope. We know that. Okay, we already said I'm not going to have no desire to pray. I ain't going to have no desire to pray. I ain't going to have no desire to fast because I'm too busy doing self-pity. Give me another example like that. I'm not going to make supplication. I'm not going to talk to Allah because I feel like I ain't got nothing good to contribute to him. Come on, guys. These are the type of answers we're looking for. Does Precious and Amina Fresno have to answer all these questions? Because they're the only ones who get it.
But I try. Assalamu alaikum.
Whoever that is, go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say they're always questioning whether or not a certain act of good deed will
Okay, do you know the meaning of self-esteem? What does a person with low self-esteem have to do with questioning? That's not even in the character of a person. A person has low self-esteem, don't question nothing. Y'all don't know the meaning of what low self-esteem means. Somebody go to dictionary.com, put it back up, look up the meaning of low self-esteem. People with low self-esteem don't even have the intelligence or the strength or the guts to ask anything. More less question it. Okay. Look up the meaning. Somebody, where is Mayleon? Mayleon, read the meaning of low self-esteem.
Low self-esteem means when someone lacks confidence about who they are and what
There
they
you
can.
go. A person that lacks confidence ain't going to ask questions about nothing because they feel that they're a loser. Read it again for them.
A person who lacks low self-esteem is a person who lacks confidence about who they are and what they can do.
Exactly. So now this is a person that has no confidence in being a Muslim. This is a person that has no confidence in what he or she can do as a Muslim. So that's why Precious and Amina Fresno gave the top answers. Number one, such a person that has no confidence in himself has no hope of forgiveness. Good job, Fresno. Such a person who has no confidence in himself or his own abilities doesn't pray or fast because they figure, what's the point? Such a person feels that he or she has nothing good to contribute to anything, so they don't even talk to Allah. So now that you guys understand what self-esteem, low self-esteem is, give me another example of how a person who has low self-esteem is a person that is weak in the way they practice his religion or their belief system. Thank you, Mayleon. Mayleon, you handle that, the definitions for them. And I know Mayleon got an answer. I want to hear from somebody else.
Assalamu alaikum.
You're welcome.
Who is this? And I don't want to hear from Precious again. Because Precious
it was
knows this stuff.
Yeah, it's Sister Sophia.
Okay.
I figure a person with low self-esteem won't cover it properly. They won't, they won't wear their hijab and things like that.
Why not?
Because they figure it doesn't, like, it won't count or something. Allah won't even, I won't get credit for it. Allah's not even looking at me.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, we said that falls in the category of not wanting to fulfill their obligations. Exactly. Because they're too caught up in self-pity. Obligations. Remember, guys, hijab falls in the category. That's an obligation. What about other things? What else? Anybody come with something else besides not wanting, no desire to fulfill the obligations of Islam? Can anyone think of another way it would practice? It would affect their practice. What about their belief system? What about the belief in Allah? How does low self-esteem, now, I could come up with a bunch of answers for that. How does low self-esteem affect your belief system? Besides not having hope, what else? And Mayleon, help them out. Such a person has no hope. Hope is part of faith. What else? Y'all know the different components of faith? What else?
They may consider leaving Islam because they think there's no point to it.
Okay, but how does it, what makes them want to leave? Well, that's the hope. That's the hope. Give me something else besides hope. No hope. I have low self-esteem. How does that affect my belief in La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Let me try that. They might think that Allah don't care about them. They might even have doubt whether Allah exists or not because it's not.
Okay, low self-esteem ain't got nothing to do with doubt. Remember, this person is not, you keep saying doubt. Doubt ain't got nothing to do with this person. This is a low person with low self-esteem. There's a lot of people that believe in Allah, but they just have low self-esteem. So what does that mean? That means I'm believing that Allah will offer no forgiveness for me. Remember, I feel myself to be a loser. So how does it affect my belief? That I will believe that Allah does not forgive all sins. Remember that, guys? This is also a person. Such a person believes that their sins are too many to be forgiven for. Y'all couldn't think of this stuff? This is basic psychology. Forgiven of, or sins are too big to be forgiven of. This is basic Tawheed. Guys, where are you guys at in your thinking? Okay, so if a person suffers with low self-esteem, this is a person that feels that he or she is not of any value. This is a person that feels that I'm not nothing. I am of no value. I am of no consequence. I am not important. I'm just here, but I'm nothing. That's a person with low self-esteem. And if a person is suffering with that belief in himself, how does it show in their practice and stuff? This person has no desire to do the obligations. This person has no hope of forgiveness. This person feels that she or he is not good enough for Allah to forgive. They think their sins are too many. They think their sins are too big. They think that they are not worthy of that. Those are type of the answers y'all have to give. Because this affects your aqidah, your belief. This affects your practice of the deen. Does everybody understand that? And this is why the psychology for the Muslim is the Prophet Muhammad, but you got to learn Islam. You ain't got to go pay no $300 an hour for somebody to tell you, that you got low self-esteem. I can tell you that for free by the way you practice your deen. Everybody understand that? Okay, let's look at the next question. I didn't think we would spend this much time on these. I thought y'all would fly through them. I'm glad I did ask because I see you don't get it. Let's look at that second scenario. Again, the purpose of this is to see how if a person suffers with bad character. That's a person that's weak in their faith. That's a person that's not strong in their practice of Islam. Let's look at the second example. A person suffers with anger issues. Now, this should be easy. I made this easy. Everybody know the meaning of anger. Everybody knows what it means to get angry, to get mad. A person suffers with anger issues. Now tell me, how will a person who has anger issues show this in their belief in Allah and their practice of Islam? That means show me what is it, or tell me what is it about a person who cannot control their temper that can cause them to invalidate their belief in Allah? Or how is it that a person who cannot control his or her temper is a person that falls short in practicing Islam? Y'all understand the question? Who's going to start us off?
Assalamu alaikum.
Good. Here's my phrase. Go ahead and start them off.
Okay. If a person is angry, when they go and pray and ask Allah for something and they don't get it right away, they just...
Right. Such a person will not be able to control his or her emotions, even with the law. If Allah fails to answer their supplication as they want, that person will quit on Allah, or even not believe Allah is who He is. Good job, Amina. Good job. Y'all see that? So that shows how anger, what is, and by the way, this is doing what? Since I can't control my anger issues, and I'm mad because Allah didn't answer my supplication, and I end up saying, well, forget it, I'm gonna stop praying to Allah, or I don't believe Allah says He's all that He is. What does that impact? My practice or my belief system, guys? Which one does that impact? My practice or belief?
The
Good
belief
job,
system.
my belief. So that's an example. See how Amina started y'all off? Okay, now, Precious, don't give an answer. Let these people work for it. Somebody else besides Precious come up with another example as to how if a person has anger issues, that person, it shows itself through their belief or practice of Islam. Let me see what we got on
This
Facebook.
person.
Too. Okay, let's see. Okay, okay. Okay, they don't
Can
have
I
it.
answer?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Just no answers on Facebook yet. Go ahead.
This person will always blame Allah for everything wrong that happens in their life.
Exactly. Good job. Such a person will blame Allah for anything bad that happens in his or her life. And what does that impact? By doing that, what are you impacting? Belief or practice?
Belief.
Good job. Belief. Good job. Give me another example, someone else, of how a person with anger issues, how this shows in their belief and or their practice of Islam.
This person is like excessive in their practice of Islam. They make the religion harder on the people. Say, for example, in like,
oh, good job. Such a person, that must be Maleon, will become excessive in the deen, making it hard on himself and others. Now, what is that? Practice or belief, guys? Is that practice or belief?
Practice.
Good job. That's practice. want you guys to see. This is fiqh. See how this stuff relates to your practice or belief. Give me another example of how anger issues can impact your belief or your practice of this religion. Someone else.
Can I say that this person becomes unhappy with the decree of Allah, so they'll go so far as to being angry with Allah and think bad about Allah?
Such a person, good job, rejects or is in denial of the decree of Allah. Do you guys see how the psychologist for the Muslim is the Prophet Muhammad in Islam? Okay, if you are a true daya too, the daya is the psychologist for the Muslim. You know, that's why it is important, guys, for every Muslim listening to me. I hope you guys see why the Prophet said, learn the deen from the true people of knowledge, because the true people of knowledge, we are your counselors. We are your psychologists. We are your social workers, because we're reminding you or teaching you how to handle life and its trials through what the Prophet taught us. So that's why every Muslim living on this planet is supposed to have a personal teacher. How many people have a teacher? Very few. But you should be able to call your teacher up, you know, and say, look, I'm going through a hardship in life. And that person can advise you, counsel you, guide you, you know, help reform you. You know, you shouldn't have to go seek it out through a kafir or these Muslims who go to school and settle for a degree in psychology that anyone can get. And now we're on Facebook. Hello, I'm going to teach you how to deal with anxiety. I'm going to teach you how to raise children. I'm going to teach you how to handle your bills, how to get out of debt and all that. When I don't need you to teach me that. I already know how to do that. I know what to do for anxiety because the Prophet taught me. I know how to handle stress. The Prophet taught me. I know what to do when I feel low in self-esteem. I know what to do when my iman is weak. I got a teacher to teach me that. I don't need you. Go on and smile and grin and somewhere else. And by the way, should have got your degree in engineering or something. Anybody can get a psychology degree. Easy way to finish school. We all know that. Hello. All right. Okay. But anyway, not putting it down, because, you know, not putting psychology down. For those that go for their master's degrees and stuff like that, that's a little different. Their PhDs, that's different, guys. But I'm just saying, you know, Islam, the daya, the true teacher, those are your counselors. Those are your psychologists, your social workers, if they truly understand the deen. Because the Prophet taught us how low self-esteem, how bad character impacts your practice and belief. Okay, give me another example, guys. A person who has anger issues. These are people who like to question the decree of Allah. And give me another example.
Could I try? Again?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, such a person will get angry when they're corrected because they always feel like they're right about the deen.
Okay, I want your answers to relate to how that person practices Islam or that person's belief in Allah. I don't want to know how these people behave. We already know, but if I'm mad, I might punch you. If I'm mad, I might spit on you. No, I want to hear about how it relates to the practice of Islam. You understand the question? Okay, or belief. Rejecting the decree of Allah, this is what? Belief. This invalidates my belief in Allah. You know, becoming excessive and making the religion hard on myself and others, that's my practice. Blaming Allah for anything bad that happens, that's my belief. So the answers have to relate to belief or practice. I don't want you to tell me what a person would do to him or herself or something like that. Okay, anyone else? Give me another example.
This person will.
Yeah, go ahead.
A person will become less merciful. It will affect their mercy when they're
what does that have to do with who is this?
This is Tony.
Okay, Tony, what does that have to do with the cost? What does mercy, can you even see or touch or feel mercy? What does that have to do with the cost of tea in China? The answer has to relate to me or you practicing the religion. That means to practice the religion means to do the things that Allah commanded us to do, or stay away from the things Allah commanded us to stay away from, or it impacts your belief, your la ilaha illallah Muhammad or Rasulullah. Don't come up with, oh, that person's not nice. We already know people with anger issues are not nice. So that mercy falls in the same category with nice. We already know that they're not nice people, Tony. But tell me how it impacts their performance of the religion. How does a person with anger issues have a hard time performing Islam? You get it now? I'm angry. So how is that going to impact me living my life as a Muslim, doing what I'm supposed to do? That's how the answers are supposed to relate. Not to, he's not nice. None of these people are nice.
Going back to like when that person will blame anything that bad happens, blame Allah for it. So if anything good happens, they'll take credit and say it's happened because
see how she thinks,
see, because of Allah.
And what does that impact?
Belief.
Yeah, and practice too. Good job. Yeah. Such a person will accredit anything good that happens to he or she in life to themselves and not Allah. And what does this impact, Tony? This impacts la ilaha illallah, my belief in Allah. You get it? See why we took the time to learn those names of Allah? Do you guys see how learning the names of Allah, remember, that's one of Allah's names. One of Allah's names is he is not the one that's quick to lose his temper. He knows how to restrain. That's the last name we learned, the one who refrains or restrains himself. Okay, a person who knows how to restrain himself, that does not know how to restrain himself, they will only accredit good things to them and the bad things to Allah. This is a person that will reject or deny the Allah's decree. This is a person that's obsessive and harsh on himself and others, make the religion hard. These are people who are not able to even control how they react with Allah. Good job. Who was that answer? Was that Elma?
No, it was me, Khadija.
Oh, Khadijah's here. Oh, mashallah. You have that British accent too. Mashallah. Good job. I'm proud of you, girlfriend. You gave 3 answers a day. Good job. Okay, let's look at the third question, guys. The third question, or the third example. I'm gonna have to do these type of questions every day, I see. Okay. Again, to illustrate how, if a person suffers with bad character or bad morality, this is a person that is weak in their faith, weak in their iman, weak in their practice of the religion. Such a person is not really a strong Muslim, a strong believer. And let's give another example. This is one we talked about in the Zoom room last night. Those of you who were here in the Zoom room should be able to hit on this one because we had a sister join asking about this. Okay, let's say that a person suffers with doubt and melancholy. By the way, May Leon, look up the word melancholy for them so they know what it means. Melancholy. A person suffers with doubt and melancholy. How will this show itself in the way that person practices the religion, or the way that person believes in Allah? Look up the meaning of melancholy first so they know. That's one of my words. I'm a person that suffers with melancholy. I don't suffer with it, but Shaitan tries to put me there. My personal jinn tries to make me that way, but I resist it. What does it mean?
It means a feeling of pensive sadness, typically with no obvious cause.
Exactly. And that's what we call, in other words, anxiety. Many of you listen to these famous speakers. We're going to talk about anxiety and stress. It's only melancholy. Well, guess what? We know how to handle melancholy when we learn our religion. Okay, so that's what melancholy is, sadness. We just get sad for no reason. It just comes out of nowhere. That's anxiety. You can be sitting here having a good time talking on the Zoom, and all of a sudden this feeling of melancholy comes over you. This feeling of sadness seeps into your mind and it tries to filtrate through your body. But the good Muslim can recognize it, catch it, and say, "A'udhu billahi," knock it out the way and say, "Oh no, you ain't taking me down that dark road today, Iblis." But that's the strong believer. And I want you guys to understand all these characteristics, and we're going to talk about that in the lecture today. All these characteristics that we're talking about, we all suffer with as humans. But the difference is the strong believer recognizes when these bad characteristics seep up on us and pushes them away. The way I'm always pushing away melancholy. Y'all see me, those of you who hang in a Zoom, you hear me and see me pushing away melancholy all the time. Okay, that's anxiety. You learn that from Layla. You ain't got to listen to these other famous people. Okay, hang out in the Zoom. But anyway, a person that suffers with doubt, and we guys know doubt is to question. What does it mean to doubt? This is a person that questions himself, questions, why am I even here? What is my purpose? Am I really on the right path? That's a person that suffers with doubt. And then they get sadness. I'm sad and I just don't feel right. How will this show itself? If that person is not strong enough to push those emotions, push those feelings away, how will it end up manifesting in their belief or practice of Islam? Anyone, go ahead.
I'm like hopelessness again.
Yeah, well, you know the answer. Go ahead. Okay, exactly. We talked about this in the Zoom room. Such a person will lose hope. That's the number one thing, and that's the destruction. That's why we have to be so careful with anxiety, okay? Because it can cause you to lose hope. Especially if that anxiety takes on the form of melancholy. Okay, you will end up, well, there's no use. I'm done. It's over. Just throw in the towel. It's over. I'm going to hell anyway. What's the point? I'm broke anyway. I'm a loser anyway. That melancholy will set in. Okay, so such a person will lose hope. Good job, Fresno. Anyone else? How else will doubt and melancholy impact a person or manifest in a person's belief or practice of Islam? Anyone, go ahead. Facebook, come on.
They become discouraged of fulfilling their obligations to Allah and others.
Very good. Such a person becomes discouraged from fulfilling their obligations. I see that with some of the Daya, okay, since this incident happened in Gaza. There are some Muslim Daya that I know personally right now to this day who are so melancholy, suffering from such sadness that person can't even resume their lectures. I know of several Daya. They cannot even resume back to teaching because they can't get past what happened in Gaza. And what happened in Gaza is at a ceasefire now, and it's going to start up again. That's just the way Allah decreed it. But you are so sad. You cannot move past it that you stop your classes. You're not teaching anything. All you're doing is spending your time talking about Gaza. That's melancholy. You have to move past that. We have to get past that. We have to get that sadness under control. It's impacting your practice. You're not the person you used to be. People would look up to you for advice. You're a Daya. The people want to turn to you for help. But how can we turn to you for help or advice when you can't handle something that's going on? They see me handling my trials. They see me handling my problems and still teaching and still moving forward. But you can't get past yours. And by the way, yours are no greater than mine. Everybody's struggle is the same. Everybody's struggle is bad for them. Allah will test us all according to our capability. So what's bad for me is just as bad as what's bad for you. But I'm able to handle it and keep it moving. That's melancholy. That's an evil emotion that can really destroy us. So such a person can become discouraged from fulfilling their obligations, their prayers, their fasting, their teaching, their work. I know some people who haven't been to work. You're not even going to work because of what happened over in Gaza? Come on, dude, you got to move it on. You okay? Subhanallah, melancholy can do that. It's a terrible, terrible emotion. And that's why the strong believer has to fight against it. When you feel it seeking up, and we're going to teach you in this series, I am going to teach you what to do when you recognize these emotions. Okay? So such a person becomes discouraged from fulfilling their obligations. Okay, give me another example as to how doubt and melancholy can impact the way a person practices the religion or even their belief system. Anyone else? Anyone else?
They'll start questioning why things are happening, and they'll start questioning Allah.
Exactly.
And say, if Allah existed, why is he allowing all this to happen?
Exactly. Such a person begins to question Allah with why. And this is what will take us immediately out of Islam. Why, Allah? Why are you allowing this to happen to the children? Oh, Allah, why are you allowing children to die? How many of you hear people saying that now? Oh my God, the bomb went off in Gaza, the children died, women were killed. Oh, why, Allah? And what does that impact? Your belief system. We never ask why. Allah says, don't worry about the children. Any children that get caught up in my war, they're green birds flying around the throne of Allah. Don't cry over the children. They in a better place. You better cry over yourself. Like, why are you asking me why I did what I did? Oh, Allah, why you allow Israel to do this? Why you allow America? Why? That's what a person who suffers with doubt and melancholy can end up doing, actually questioning Allah, asking Allah why, and this impacts, again, your belief. Okay, good job, Khadij. You're doing good today. Give me another example as to how if a person suffers with doubt and melancholy, it will show itself through their belief and their practice of Islam. Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else?
Can we say they lack certainty of faith?
Oh, exactly. Yeah, exactly. People with doubt, such a people who suffer doubt. Let me see. People who suffer doubt, the prophet tells us, automatically are people who lack certainty of faith. And that's why we want to stay away from it. That's why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us in numerous hadiths to stay away from doubt, because you'll end up questioning Allah. You'll end up not ever accepting his decree, and you will never have that certainty of faith that you must have. Certainty of faith is a characteristic that we all have to have in order to be strong believing Muslims. Okay, good job, Faye. Okay, and we talked about this last night in that Zoom room with a sister who came in here suffering with melancholy and doubt. Anyone else? What's another way that melancholy or doubt will manifest in your practice of the religion or your belief system? Anyone else? Vicky? Vicky, you got one?
Assalamu alaikum.
Oh, okay, Anissa's here. Wa alaikum salam.
MashaAllah. Their confusion will be just multiplied.
Okay, yeah, exactly. A person that's such a person will be confused about the deen and their purpose. Again, this is a person I'm so busy doubting and questioning things that I'm confused. I don't know which way I'm supposed to go. I don't know what I'm supposed to believe. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, what I'm supposed to stay away from. That's how messed up I am because of my questioning, my doubt, and doubt always leads to melancholy. A person that is constantly questioning and doubting, this is a person that is so sad always. Okay. And that's why we fight it. That's why we fight it. And that's one of the reasons why I keep this Zoom open. You guys know, those of you who hang out here with me, my little 20 people who are my true followers that hang out in here and we support each other. You know, when I had to make my move from Cincinnati to Cleveland, what was I questioning? How am I going to do this? Where am I going to get the money from? Where am I going to get the money from? Then all of a sudden the sadness. Oh, and what did Fresno do? Girl, flip that credit card out of your wallet and thank Allah that you got good credit and charge it and let Allah pay it. Hello. That's how she whipped me out of it. You're right. Flip a credit card, move. Everything on the credit card, move. Thank you, Allah. Thank you, Allah, for giving me the ends to the means. And I know as long as I'm surviving, Allah will cause me to survive. Bam. Okay. Because that doubt, that questioning could have brought me to melancholy and then from melancholy to depression. And you don't need to pay no sister that's famous to tell you how to deal with anxiety. I'm telling you how to deal with it according to the prophet and the law. You know, questioning leads to sadness. Sadness leads to depression. So the prophet taught us to knock it out at the beginning. Number one, don't question. Say, A'udhu Billahi, when those questions appear. Just do what you got to do, like Fresno said. And as far as sadness, when you feel that sadness trickling in, A'udhu Billahi, get up and do something. Go exercise, go work out, go call somebody on the phone and change the topic. Go watch a nice love story. Go watch a nice Avenger movie or something to get your mind out of that sadness, to put you in a better place, a better state of mind. Because long as we keep ourselves from falling into these deep, dark emotions, that's how we maintain our resilience and our resoluteness. And we are strong Muslims and better people that can handle whatever comes our way. Everybody understand that? Good job. So again, let's look at that answer again. Okay, a person who suffers with doubt and melancholy, you know, it will show itself through the fact where the person will lose hope. That person will become discouraged from fulfilling their obligations. That person will begin to question Allah. That person will suffer from doubt and end up having a lack of certainty of faith. Also, that person will be confused about the deen and their purpose in life. So just from this little short quiz, I didn't think it would take this long. I thought you guys would answer these questions with no problem. But from those three examples, what I did was gave you three bad characteristics. Anger, melancholy, and doubt. Okay, I gave you three bad characteristics and displayed how those characteristics in turn can bring about bad faith, bad practice of being a Muslim. Does everybody understand how that works? So now you see why the prophet said the way to become a good Muslim is to work on bettering yourself. And the way to better yourself is through changing your character, working on your morality. Does everybody understand this? Any questions about that? Because that's what today's topic is going to be on. Today, I'm getting ready to do the lecture now. The lecture is going to teach you how to change your character. We're going to go now through the steps that the Prophet Muhammad gave us on how to change your character, not some little pamphlet written by Amatullah Jones on how to handle a bad marriage or how to handle anxiety. This is a series where our prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, taught us how to change our character and do away with those bad emotions. Any questions on any of this? Well, I put the PowerPoint up on the screen. And by the way, guys, I will post a link to the PowerPoint on this Facebook video. I forgot to put it on there before the class, but I'll put it on there, inshallah, after the lecture. Okay, no questions. Let me put the power. Go ahead.
Okay, so for the one that one of the characteristics was like doubt. I was wondering, could you say a person who, you know, suffers with doubt isn't prepared and doesn't have a backup plan? Does that fall
Yeah,
in
that's
that
true.
category?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why the believer always has a plan A, B, C. Remember, we talked about that here in the Zoom room. You know, plan A, B, C. When I was going through my thing, I let y'all witness me going through my move. I said, I got to have a plan A in case I can't get Issa to help me move. What's plan B? What's plan C? In case I can't do this, what's plan A, B, C? You know, you guys, we always make a backup plan. And like I said, I knew Issa wouldn't be able to help me move this time because he's working. So my plan B is I got somebody else. I got to have 2 more people, and I got 2 people I'm working on now. And I got 2 after that if I can't get them. You have to have, the believer always has a plan A, B, C. We always expect the worst, always expect the worst, but always be able to see the good in everything. I expect the worst, because when you expect the worst, you can handle it if it happens, but be able to see the good too. Okay, in everything. Be able to see the big picture, the end result. For me, my end result is a beautiful apartment. And inshallah, not having to move anymore, in a beautiful area, in beautiful environment with Muslims around me. There's a mosque down the street, beautiful scenery, a beautiful waterfalls, you know, and the HGTV apartment. Hello, just built. So that's my good. And that's what we're striving for, that ultimate good goal there. Okay, see the good. Okay, any other questions? All right, well, let me put the PowerPoint up on the screen for today. Oh, let me make it bigger. Everybody should be able to see on Facebook. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to begin today discussing how the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam taught us to work on ourselves to change our character to that which is pleasing to Allah. Okay? First of all, in order to work on changing yourself, you have to first determine, do you want to be a person of paradise or do you want to be a person of hell? That's a choice that you have to make. And if you choose to be of paradise, then you have to reform your soul, change your soul. And we talked about how other religions teach that the way to Allah is through the sacrifices of others. This is wrong. Islam teaches that a person becomes close to Allah through reformation of his own soul, through the sacrifices you make. Not the sacrifices of others. It's the sacrifices I make to be with Allah. And that's through changing myself, not anybody changing, anybody else changing. So we have to understand that the human soul is the first step in changing or reforming our character. And if no attention is given to the soul's reformation, then you will fall victim to those dark forces such as melancholy, such as sadness, such as doubt, anger, depression, and all of that. And these things, as we've already proven through the quiz, will take you away from Allah. And that's why Allah tells us in the interpretation of the meaning, verily, Allah will never change the condition of a people until they change it within themselves. And when Allah wills a people punishment, there can be no turning back, nor will they find any besides him to protect. So again, that's the advice I gave to one of the sisters yesterday who joined the Zoom room with this question. We have to, you can pray for Allah to help you all you want to, but Allah is not going to do anything to help you unless you first take the steps to help yourself. Okay? You know what your strengths are. You know what your weaknesses are. So what are you doing about it? You know what your bad qualities are. What are you doing to change them? Okay? Don't think Allah is going to change them for you. He's not going to do that unless you first make the attempt to change it yourself. And Allah gives us many examples of this in the Quran. He gives us many examples of people that came before us. For example, Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning, like the deeds of the people of Pharaoh and those before them, they rejected the signs of Allah. So Allah punished them for their crimes. Okay, so again, we can't sit around as Muslims living in rejection. We know the things that we're doing that we should not do. We have to stop them. We have to take the steps to stop doing them on our own. We can't just sit there and continue to deliberately, intentionally sin. Otherwise, Allah will do to us what he did to those who came before us. And again, when it comes to changing yourself, you have to first understand the nature of the human being. And Allah tells us in many verses of the Quran, and our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has explained to us in many authentic hadiths that every person has a decent and pure nature. And this decent and pure nature is what pushes us to do good deeds. This pure good nature pushes us to do things that are nice and we feel happy upon doing them. That part of the human nature hates evil. That part of the human nature feels sorry and guilt when he does something bad. Okay? And that nature of the human being exists in the heart, the heart. The heart. That's why the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us that faith lies in the heart. Everything good lies in the heart, and no one can see inside your heart but Allah. Not even the angels can see inside your heart. Okay, so those good desires, those good feelings we get to do good things, that's coming from the heart, guys. That's why you hear a lot of people say, follow your heart, listen to your heart. So the heart is good. The heart is clean. The heart is pure. Okay. And then there's a second nature of the human being. And that nature is that every human being has within himself emotions that are bad, emotions that are dirty, bad inclinations. And these emotions, these feelings can turn you away from the correct path. Okay. And those inclinations come from the soul. And Allah himself has taught us and told us in the Quran that the human soul is criminal by nature. It's attracted to those things that are bad, those things that are dirty. So as Muslims, we're caught between the two natures of the human, the heart, which is inclined towards good, and the soul, which is inclined towards evil. And that's why sometimes we do good deeds because we're listening to the heart, following the heart, but other times we do bad things because we're giving in to the soul. And that's what Allah means when he says in the interpretation of the meaning, by the soul and the proportion and the order given to it and its enlightenment as to its wrong and its right. Truly, the person succeeds who purifies the soul, and the person fails who corrupts it. Okay, so as Muslims, we're living each day of our life each day of our life struggling against the soul, trying to listen to our heart, trying to do what the heart beckons us to do. But we get so caught up and we fail oftentimes because of the soul. Those bad desires, those bad emotions, those bad feelings you get are coming from the soul, not the heart. So Islam teaches us that it is the religion of nature. What does that mean? That means that it appeals to the human heart, which is good, truthful, and clean. And that's what the prophet means when he says, every child is born upon the fitra. Now, you hear a lot of Muslim speakers speak about the fitra, and they don't understand it. They can talk about it and smile in the camera, but do they break it down? No. When the prophet says every child is born upon the fitra, what he is saying is that as human beings, we come into this world innocent, with clean hearts, and we're attracted to that which is good and truthful. But that's because we are an infant. And then he goes on to say it's the parent that makes the child either grow up to be a Muslim or an unbeliever. We're all born in submission. That's how we come into the world. We come into the world dependent totally upon Allah, unable to take care of ourselves. That's the fitra, innocent, pure. But as we grow older, our parents, if they don't give us the good character, if they don't teach us good morals, good manners, we end up bad. But if you got good parents, they're going to teach you good morality, good behavior, good mannerisms that will go hand in hand with that fitra. And that's another reason why I tell people, don't ever say that you are a revert. Revert, look up the meaning of the English word revert in a dictionary. Revert means to go back to your original state. You were saying that you are a revert? No. You're reverting back to infantile? No, you are a convert. Look up the meaning of the English word convert. Convert means to adapt a new belief system. You were never raised as a Muslim. Your parents raised you a Christian, or they raised you a Catholic. So when you say you're reverting, you're saying that you're reverting to an infant. That's ludicrous. No, you are a convert to Islam. Now, if you were born Muslim, it's different. You came into the world, upon the fitra, and your parents raised you as a Muslim, and you apostate, then you can use the word revert, because you reverted back to what your parents raised you to be, which was Muslim. But for those of us who were not raised as Muslim, you are a convert, not a revert. You're converting to a new belief system. You are not reverting to an infant, which is ignorant and pure. Ignorant means uneducated, just, clean hearts, good and totally dependent on Allah. Okay. Also, Allah says in the Quran, in the interpretation of the meaning, so, O Prophet, set your face steadily and truly to the faith. Establish Allah's nature on which he has framed mankind. There is no change in what Allah has created. That is the standard religion, but most among mankind do not understand that. So again, here we can see that Allah is telling the Prophet Muhammad in this verse of the Quran to let the people know that our religion is one that is natural. Our religion is one that is based on, in other words, good morals, good character, good behavior. And that's why the prophet said that he was sent here to teach us good morals, good character, good behavior. Because again, the human soul is corrupt. The human soul is evil, and the human soul is attracted to what is bad for it. Okay, so again, this is the first step in changing the condition of yourself. This is the first step in changing your character. You have to, first of all, understand the nature of the human being. And what we all have are two parts: the good part, the bad part. The good part of the human is the heart. The heart is attracted to what is good, what is clean, and what is truthful. And then we have the soul. The soul is attracted to what is bad, what is dirty, and false. We were talking about this last night in the Zoom room about how, if you look at my original, when I first started teaching on Facebook a year ago, you look at my first lectures, I had 300 people watching them. 300, 400, 500, 600 people. But look at the drama. We were busy trying to learn how to work Zoom. So they got to see a lot of weird stuff going on. They see me crying on the camera because I'm like, wait a minute, I don't know what I'm doing. And that people like to see that. 500 views. They'll see an argument with another sister and her husband because we don't know how to work the Zoom camera, and oh, that's 1,000 views, People are attracted to what's bad, what's dirty. They're attracted to gossip. They're attracted to see people get hurt. They're attracted to people crying, But when people are doing like I'm doing, feeling in a good mood teaching, there's nothing there. The heart, your heart tells you, listen to Sister Layla, because it's what you need to hear. But your soul is saying, nope, go over there because that person's talking about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And we love some sex, drugs, rock and roll. Hello. So that's how we are as Muslims. We're caught between the two. We're caught between the soul and we're caught between the heart. We sometimes listen to the soul and we sometimes listen to the heart. Okay, but as a believer, we have to always try to train ourselves to do what's right. When that human soul beckons us to evil, we have to resist it. We have to train it to not, ourselves to not listen to it and instead follow that heart. And that's what we're going to work on for the next week or two, how to do that. But for tonight, I want you guys to understand the nature of the human. The heart is good. The heart is pure. The heart is truthful. The soul is evil. The soul is criminal. I want you to understand what fitra means. Fitra means innocence, complete submission to Allah, dependency on Allah. We all come into the world dependent on Allah, not understanding, not knowing anything, just pure. So that's why you're not a revert. You're not reverting back to that. You're a convert. You're converting to a new belief system that your parents didn't teach you. Okay? All right, we're going to close out here for today. And I want to ask everybody, please share my lectures to your Facebook page. There are so many Muslims out there who are seeking answers. There are so many Muslims out there struggling with the deen, and there's a lot of speakers out there, but how many people are teaching through the understanding of these companions, the way and the example of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So think of the rewards you will get for sharing me to your Facebook page, and somebody happens to see it and be like, wow, this is what I need to hear. Think of the rewards you get for that. Okay, so I'm going to close out here for today. I'm going to put the link to the PowerPoint on this Facebook video. And make sure you guys review the PowerPoint so you can take the quiz tomorrow and pass it. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik.